Live from the Western Mass News Studios in Springfield, this is Better Western Mass.
So cases of coronavirus variants believed to be more contagious have now been identified in just about every U.S. state. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Better Western Mass on this Friday afternoon. I'm Taylor Jacobs. So a top U.S. health official out there is now saying there are two ways to combat those variants. Our Western Mass News correspondent Mandy Gaither explains.
In the war on COVID-19, there are still plenty of questions, including how long vaccines last and do they work against the highly contagious coronavirus variants.
While we are starting to see emerging evidence that the vaccines remain effective against circulating variants and that the risk of breakthrough infections in vaccinated persons and spreading the virus to others is low, we must be resolute in our efforts to fully answer these critical questions.
All three companies with vaccines now authorized in the U.S. are working to make sure their product provides protection against the variants. This week, Moderna announced the first participants have received its modified COVID-19 vaccines designed as potential boosters. In the battle against the variants, two strategies are now being pursued in the U.S. Vaccinated people could get specific booster shots against each variant that crops up, or get a shot that offers protection against several variants.
Here is the challenge. Are we going to chase each variant in an almost whack-a-mole way, or are we going to try and get a vaccine that has a good degree of cross protection against several and get the level of virus so low that we don't really have an outbreak proportion?
And all that hinges on more Americans getting their COVID-19 vaccines.
We ask for your participation by rolling up your sleeve when it is your turn to be vaccinated, and we ask for your leadership in helping others do both of the same.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, and Western Mass News remains your vaccine authority, and let's take some of your questions to the experts about all this. This afternoon, we have Dr. Erica Hamilton, a microbiologist from UMass Amherst, joining us now. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Hamilton. And the first question comes from Diane, who writes, I am 61, have two comorbidities, and am scheduled next week for lung surgery. I have tried every day several times to get an appointment for the vaccine. I still am not able to get one. I'm scared to have surgery without the vaccine. Is there anything I can do?
There's been a lot of frustration for people in Massachusetts to try and get a vaccination appointment. In fact, I think we're kind of moved beyond frustration into something even worse. The people I know who have gotten appointments had had success two ways. First of all, dialing 211. That is the state vaccine helpline. Now, you may not be able to talk to someone in person right away, but leave a message. Folks I know who have called that number have actually gotten a call back and have had help scheduling vaccination appointments. The second thing you can do is try some of the private vaccine sites. So UMass Amherst, all the CVS pharmacies, places like that, have individual separate websites where you can go and you can look for appointments there. You have to check back frequently as appointments open up at random times because places like CVS are receiving vaccines supplies at random times. And lastly, speak to your surgeon about this issue. Ask if you can or should delay the surgery. You may not be able to. Ask if members of the surgery team have all been vaccinated. So the people who are going to be near you, have they had the vaccine? What's the hospital doing to mitigate the spread of COVID? And these are all legitimate things that a patient can certainly ask their physician.
All right, so now question number two. My husband is an IT worker. He's considered essential and is in contact with the employees at the businesses he services. Can he get the vaccine with the essential workers in the next phase? Melissa writes this.
Utility workers are included in the next group of people who can sign up for a vaccine. It's a very large group of essential workers, including restaurant workers, agriculture workers, people like that. The wording on the specific category is public works, water, wastewater, or utility workers. What constitutes a utility worker is not clear. Traditionally, we think of utility workers as people working on electrical lines, road crews, groups like that. But obviously, computers and cable and internet are an indispensable part of our lives. So you'd think that they would be included in this utility grouping, but it has not been defined yet.
Right, and now we have one final question coming from our viewer named Sandra. I got my first dose of Moderna. I am due for the second and can't get an appointment. Will I have to start all over?
Probably not, but it depends on how long it takes to get the second shot. You can safely extend the time between the first and the second vaccine to 42 days and possibly even longer. During the clinical trials, Pfizer even did a 42-day interval between their two shots, and they found that people who did a 42-day interval instead of a 21-day had excellent immunity to COVID. The problem with it was that even in the clinical trials, people didn't come back for the second shot because it was too long of a time interval. That's why they're using the 21-day one. Data from other countries and from the U.S. where people may have not been able to get their vaccine at 21 or 28 days are showing that even at 2 and possibly even 3 months, immunity is still going to be good. So don't give up yet. Keep trying to get that second shot. But if it's not exactly at the 21 or 28-day mark, it's okay. Sign up for it anyway.
All right, that's got to be reassuring to all those viewers there. Dr. Erica Hamilton, awesome stuff as usual. We'll be sure to catch up with you in the coming days. And a reminder to you at home as well, Western Mass News wants to bring your vaccine questions to the experts like Dr. Hamilton. If you have something you want to ask them, just send an email over to vax@westernmassnews.com and you can see your question asked on the air. Thanks again for coming on, Doc. Coming up on Western Mass News, is COVID vaccine the new ticket, let's say, to travel? Don't fly away, because we have the scoop coming up. Welcome back, everybody. So the travel industry was one of the hardest hit amid this pandemic, but now AAA is actually reporting an increase in plans for summer trips for the year ahead. Our Western Mass News reporter, Besaida Landaverde, has what you need to know if you plan on taking a trip anytime soon.
The new COVID-19 vaccine is the new ticket to travel. Under new state guidelines, travelers who are vaccinated 2 weeks before coming into Massachusetts do not need to self-quarantine or provide a negative COVID-19 test. Sandra Marcian, the regional vice president for AAA, tells Western Mass News they have seen an uptick in people booking vacations.
Both regionally, across the country, and even internationally in some areas where permitted.
Travelers are looking to get on the road during the summer months and also planning for bigger vacations in the future.
A lot of it for later in 2021 or in early 2022. And many of our clients cited the vaccine as a reason for why they're feeling comfortable making those travel bookings and getting ready to travel.
This is true for Christine Frieda. The Longmeadow resident says last summer she didn't even travel within the state. And now she's anticipating getting the vaccine so she can once again head east.
This summer, we're strongly considering going back to the Cape for vacation, depending on when we get vaccinated.
And if all goes well with the vaccine rollout plan, her expanded family hopes to travel outside of the state.
Disney's like one of our vacation destinations for each of our families. And we get together and we have like a lot of memories there, and we're looking forward to, reconnecting.
And Marcian says if you do plan to travel, it's important to keep up to date with other states' COVID-19 restrictions.
People need to be prepared. They need to understand what the rules are state by state, come with the appropriate personal protective equipment so that they can follow those rules safely.
All right, interesting stuff there. Coming up on Better Western Mass, we have tips from Aisha Curry on how to stay refreshed all year long. Time for some better health, and Aisha Curry is helping us breathe new life into our daily routines with the newest issue of her magazine, Sweet July. Today, she's giving us a very special look inside the magazine. It's filled with recipes and wellness tips to keep you refreshed all year long. All right, time, everybody, for some better health. The new dietary guidelines urge people out there to consume seafood 2 to 3 times per week. But how do you know which seafood to choose? An interesting question. So RDN and author Frances Largeman Roth is sharing the scoop on the nutritional benefits of wild seafood from Alaska. Welcome to the show, Frances. So tell us, what are the nutritional benefits of wild seafood from Alaska?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Taylor. So it's super nutritious. First of all, it's a great source of protein, but also it has really significant amounts of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D, and those two nutrients are really important for our immune health and heart health, and we just don't get enough of them, which is why the guidelines are telling us that we need to eat more seafood.
Oh, that's very interesting there. And people hear fatty stuff out there and they're like, whoa, 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 pump the brakes. But these are actually good fats for us that are coming through the fish there. So it looks like you have some great spreads around you. I think Alaskan king crab legs, some fish. What do you have there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these are king crab legs from Alaska, cod here that's oven roasted with a kale pesto and some tomato jam, so good. And then a Nisswa salad, which is basically my favorite thing in the world, and that is with the canned Alaska salmon. So just really showcasing different ways to get your Alaska seafood, and when you're shopping for it, ask for Alaska. If you're at the fresh seafood counter, talk to your fishmonger, say, what do you have from Alaska? And then when you are shopping for frozen in the frozen aisle, look for packaging that says Alaska seafood. And the same thing when you're shopping for the canned salmon, you want to see Alaska on that label. And so you can buy it year round in all those different forms. All of them are nutritious and delicious. And I want people to know that they can actually cook the frozen stuff. They can cook it from frozen. So all you have to do is give it a quick rinse under cold water and then take a paper towel and blot it dry. And then you can use whatever cooking method you like, whether that's pan searing or oven roasting or air frying or grilling, whatever you like to do that's convenient for you. And then you can get that meal on the table in just 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a flaky white fish right there. It looks like a beautiful topping as well, like pesto of sorts. I mean, so it looks like I hear the word canned and I hear the word frozen. When I hear that, I'm like, instantly, I pump my brakes a little, but that looks so good. So you telling me that the nutrition value is still there in those sorts of options for seafood?
Absolutely. So I have not been to Alaska yet. I'm hoping to go in the next couple of years. But they actually, they catch the fish, they bring it onto the boat, and in many cases they are freezing it right on the boat. So there's not a time lag. You know, it doesn't sit around. It's very, very fresh. And just like with fruits and vegetables, it locks in the nutrients. The freezing process locks in the nutrients. So nothing is lost. All of those fantastic nutrients, the vitamin D, the omega-3, they are in there. And the great thing too is that it's very economical. I have 3 kids, so I'm always looking for, you know, ways to save money with food shopping. And what's also good about the frozen is that you use what you want and then you put the rest back in the freezer. And so it really helps you cut down on food waste. Sometimes with the fresh stuff, we don't use it as quickly as we need to. So I'm a big believer in frozen, but really whatever option you prefer is the way to go. We just want you to get that seafood on the table.
Yeah, 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah, 2 to 3 times a week. My girlfriend works at Gorton's, so I know she's a big fisherwoman out there. So that's awesome. Frances Largeman Roth, thank you very much for coming on here today. And I guess, yeah, next time you're at the store, ask what's from Alaska. Take care, all right?
Yes, thank you. And folks can go to wildalaskaseafood.com for more information.
Awesome. Coming up, everybody, on Better Western Mass, this dad is using Twitter to help people find open COVID-19 vaccine appointments. We'll let you know how.
This new Sweet July issue is all about the refresh. It's about reclaiming your life even in the simplest of ways. Find something to spark the change in you and, renew your mindset and to honestly hold on tight, because 2020 was a doozy, so I'm certain 2021 will be a wild ride. But it's about knowing that we're in the driver's seat. The refresh issue is filled with ways to find the spark to help you refresh, recharge, and reclaim your life, you guys. There's dozens of new recipes that are just quick and easy to meal prep, but also packed with healthy nutrients to help you guys and your families feel the best. So I am really loving what I call my Eat with Everything leek dip. It comes together super quick, and I usually have most of the ingredients lying around anyways. So it's great to whip together when you want, a quick and easy appetizer or elevated snack time, or have a few people coming by. And it really goes with any veggies that you have on hand, like cucumbers, carrots, celery, you name it. It's amazing. I love it. A lot of the recipes I'll be cooking in this issue use some fresh green ingredients that are perfect for spring. The Easy Peasy pasta has a ton of fresh, bright veggies to lighten up a comforting pasta dish. And I'll be making roasted asparagus with crispy shallots as a side dish for tons of meals this season. So there's a lot of great recipes that carry through. It's amazing. So at a time when quarantine has become the new normal, not only do the days look different, but I feel like you probably do too if you're anything like me. So after a stressful year like 2020, we could all use some pampering. The inner and outer kind, from incorporating gemstones into a wellness regimen to strengthening strands with hair powder. There's a world of countless beauty secrets to discover. So in this issue of Sweet July, we've gathered the best natural remedies, clean makeup buys, and soul-soothing tips to step up your self-care game in 2021 and beyond, of course. I have absolutely loved being able to involve my family so much throughout the pages of this magazine. Being able to give my mom a voice in Sweet July and give people new perspective and just, have her have this outlet to speak about her experiences, I think is so special. And I've encountered so many people along the way giving feedback that have said they can relate so much to her story. So that's been really special for us. And then getting to involve my two little girls, being able to empower them with, the gift of writing and interview and being able to have these open conversations with them so they can speak their mind has just been so special. And I think as they get older, to watch the questions evolve and the answers evolve, I think is going to be so neat to see. So I've loved incorporating my family in every aspect. It's been such a blessing.
All right, pretty neat. Okay, so let's switch gears here and talk some entertainment news here on this Friday afternoon. Here's what's coming up on tonight's new episode of People TV.
Tonight, only on People with hits such as Lose It, Kane Brown became one of the biggest stars in country music. He recently returned to the place he worked before he was famous, Lowe's, and spoke with me all about it.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, man. You been all right?
Yeah, you?
I've been good. Hanging out.
They told me only like 2 people still work there from when I worked there, which was 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I swear there was 13 of the original team. It was just, I ended up crying when I saw everybody. It was crazy.
Kane was around 20 when he last saw his co-workers in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The reunion sparked memories of his childhood. How rough was that for you as you think back about it now?
Going from different schools, not having steady places to live, things like that was hard for me. Making new friends, just being bullied, being picked on, being a little kid.
More of my interview with Kane Brown, from growing up to life now with his wife and daughter, tonight on People.
Bullies are the absolute worst. Coming up on Better Western Mass, a middle school student with Down syndrome is leaving it all out on the court. We have more of this incredible video you're looking at there. And as we send you off to break, a look at your local Steal and Deal.
Hey guys, have you noticed that all the trending articles are about being organized, cleaning up your mess, where things go, yada, yada? I read all those, but they don't give me the tools, so I'm still unorganized. But we're bringing you something that's going to help you get organized, because we're always looking for things to make your life better. This is the splay tray, 2 different sizes, 3 different colors, but here's what's cool. I'm organized, I go. When I get there, here's my workspace. So it's all done with magnets. Open it up, right? Side, side. Now I have a tray, now I have the workspace. This brilliant invention is all due to a young lady named Allie, who is joining us today.
I was traveling around Southeast Asia, staying in hostels with very limited personal space. I was getting so frustrated with having to take all of my stuff out of my bags just to put it right back in. When I got home to the States, I really started thinking about that problem, and I knew that there had to be a solution. So I started folding a piece of paper to try to create a bag that started as a bag form and opened out into a tray, which then turned into creating a prototype with fabric on a sewing machine, and then we ended up moving to the more manufactured version.
Thank you so much, Allie. I love the whole idea. Organized and on the go, workspace when you get there. Right now on localsteals.com, we have a very special offer on these for you. So think about where they'd make sense in your house and who else would love to have one, because you can definitely save money on both.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we sign off for the weekend, we got some feel-good stories for you. An Iowa dad is putting his computer programming skills to work by helping state residents find open COVID vaccine appointments. He created a Twitter account that uses data from pharmacies administering the vaccines. Now it sends out automatic real-time alerts when appointments do become available. He says the feed has really taken off, gathering at least 5,300 followers since Wednesday. We reported on somebody similar too in Boston. Now a Florida middle school student nailed his second attempt at a three-pointer at his team's final game of the season earlier this month. Jacome has Down syndrome. His mom says number 25 was getting a lot of love at schools throughout the district during the season, and we're just kind of looking in on that. And you saw the shot right there. It looks like some of the teammates clapping him on. He looks as happy as he could possibly be. Look at that right there. That is awesome, and the definition of this show. Hope you do officially feel a bit better for tuning in, everybody. Now remember, you got to deal with daylight saving time, no S, this coming weekend. The clocks are all going there. Shortest weekend of the year. Try to enjoy it. It's nice out.